Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. This is Todd with Industrial Comfort. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make a super easy jig like this for your router so that you can cut really nice channels like this. It's a very quick, easy project and literally costs nothing to make. You're just going to need some scrap wood, an up spiral bit for your router, and a little bit of double-sided tape. Let's get started. To make this router cutting jig, you just need a few scrap items that you've got laying around the shop. So I'm using 2 pieces of scrap plywood and a scrap piece of 1/4-inch plywood. Now, obviously you're going to need your plunge base, and what I'm going to do is take some double-sided tape, and I am going to tape one of these boards down to this piece of 1/4-inch plywood. I'm going to line up my speed square so I get a nice 90-degree angle here. And I'm going to take my plunge base, stick it so that it's flush against the end here. And to be honest, it doesn't really matter. You know, I guess I might as well use the flat part. It might move a little smoother. And I'm going to do the same thing with the tape on this piece. Again, I'm going to use my speed square so that we get a nice 90-degree angle. You want to make sure you're making contact so that the plunge base moves and makes contact along this second piece of wood that we're putting in place. All right, second time's a charm here. Now, the key to all of this is using the right bit. So you're going to need an up spiral bit or some form of plunge bit to get through this material. So I have a 1/2-inch up spiral bit mated with a 1/2-inch shank based on my collet size here. If you have a smaller collet on your machine, that's perfectly fine as well. I'm planning to use the same bit on my workpiece as I'm using for this template. You don't have to, but I would certainly make sure that if you want to use a different size bit, that the bit you're going to use on the workpiece matches the same diameter as you're using for this template, because we're going to use the edge of the cut to line up against the lines that we've drawn on the workpiece to make a precise cut. So we'll get this, we'll get the router put into the plunge base here, and then what I'm going to do is put this on top of another piece of wood as we make the initial plunge cut to prevent any tear out, and then we'll give this thing a test run. With the jig clamped down and some scrap shiplap I've got underneath, we're going to make the first plunge cut. I'm going to run it down to the end. Now, you don't go all the way through because you want some stability on either end of the jig. If I cut all the way through, I'm going to get a ton of flex, for lack of a better way to explain it. So let's get started. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. So now we're going to put this to use, and essentially what we're going to do is line this up over the workpiece, and we should get a perfectly straight cut based on this jig. So let's give it a try. I'm not sure how well you can see the lines here, but essentially this is the channel that we're going to rat out so that we can fit this T-track. And so we just have to make sure that we have the right depth stop on this, and we'll use the template, and essentially we're just going to line up the edge of this slot here with the edge of the line. I'm going to use some double-sided tape to line this up, and then we'll give it a go. Now, I probably could have used a bigger bit for this application given the fact that I had to make so many passes, but as you can see, it just did a fantastic job creating this channel with nothing more than this template. And as you can see, this sliding T-track fits in perfectly. While routers certainly make a mess, they're a super versatile tool and you can do some really cool things with them. As you can see, with a little bit of scrap wood, you can create a great jig to make channels like this for your work projects. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching.